Caspar's Declassified Ethereality product reviews. Hey you, dudes and dudettes. This episode we have another Martian guest speaker who will be speaking to us by the spirit, communicating with us through her audible still small voice through our mind that come across our thoughts, as she will not only be dissecting the stats of the Aktərpuz Third-Arm on herself, but she will also be chit-chatting a bit about anti-Semitism. As I expect you will learn more about what it can do, and I will too. Also, I will post a roster of her stats with this after the broadcast. Now without further ado I present to you the third Aktərpuz Martian Third-Arm we're reviewing tonight, the Ink-Slinger.
Howdy ye, strange earthlings. Ink-Slinger here. I come in peace and to bring enlightenment. I hope you got a lot out of the last guest who spoke and our backstory. Briefly, now allow me let you in on a bit about myself. The source that others have encountered me is during study hours to make reading effortless, and movies nights as I take on all of the holding efforts. If you could see my appearance, it would tell you that I'm not from this world, as I'm one of the Araimmorane species from the home world of Zuluris IV, a race of humanoid Third-Arm Martian habitats. Like the other third arms, I consist of an anatomical upper extremities crossbreed of a brachial, antebrachial, carpal, pollex, palmar, manus, digital, and olecranal. Likewise I have flabby, pinkish yellow skin that's covered with tribal tattoos. I love to give moviegoers and actors an extra hand, along with advanced medical knowledge that is imparted unto them. As I'm a female, my hair is made up of peach fuzz on back of my hand and forearm with small transparent, fingernail and grown eyes. I would say I look around 30, and my weight is about the same as the last two, and the same goes for my height, with my length being one and the same as well. For you fashionistas, the clothes that I'm wearing is a camouflaged short sleeve, as my arm shows a full forearm of tribal tattoos. If you were to interact with me, it would be through sign language and finger tapping Morse code. Not to mention, my personality would come across to you as being very subtle yet artsy and supportive, as you will find me encouraging you a lot. Some insights on the thoughts that I think are one and the same as Spectro and Tattoodles, as I share my thoughts through a psychological connection, by touch. Moving on to the development for the problem that we seem to solve are one and the same as my leader, Spectro and comrade Tattoodles, while we also share the same goal and outcome. Furthermore, a memorable interaction I can recall is when I have the tendency to quote in sign language, "With me nothing is impossible, as I am able to make all things possible, and make you an impossibility in an impossible world." With that said, my interaction is one and the same as Spectro and the other comrade, while I strive for making my action to effectively hold items for easy reach according to a moviegoer or actor's preference. And last but not least is my personal connection is with the Aktərpuz core family and to my leader Spectro. And now for what you all have been just sitting there twiddling your thumbs for, to learn more about anti-Semitism. Those anti-Semites, that anti-Semitic our hostility toward Jews dates to ancient times, perhaps to the beginning of Jewish history. From the days of the Codex until the Roman Empire, Jews were criticized and sometimes punished for their efforts to remain a separate social and religious group, one that refused to adopt the values and the way of life of the non-Jewish societies in which it lived. The rise of Christianity greatly increased hatred of Jews. They became seen not merely as outsiders but as a people who rejected Jesus and crucified him, despite the fact that the Roman authorities ordered and carried out the crucifixion. By the High Middle Ages, 11th–14th centuries, Jews were widely persecuted as barely human Christ killers and devils. Forced to live in all Jewish ghettos, they were accused of poisoning rivers and wells during times of disease. Some were tortured and executed for supposedly abducting and killing Christian children to drink their blood or to use it in baking matzah, that is, a charge known as the blood libel. A large number were forced to convert to Christianity to avoid death, torture, or expulsion, though many secretly practiced Judaism after their conversions. In recent times, the Catholic Church and other Christian churches have rejected these anti-Semitic falsehoods. In the 18th century, as the influence of Christianity began to lessen during the Enlightenment, which celebrated the rights and possibilities of men and women to a far greater extent than ever before, religiously based hatred of Jewishness gave way to non-religious criticism. Judaism was attacked as an outdated belief that blocked human progress. Jewish separatism was again targeted. As European countries began to take modern shape in the 19th century and national pride grew, Jews, who were still usually deprived of civil rights and lived throughout Europe as outsiders, were subjected to further hostility. This hostility resulted at times in deadly persecution, as in the late 19th century Russian pogroms, violent attacks on Jewish communities with the aid or indifference of the government. Well, that just about wraps it up for me. I'm going to hit the hay. Thank you Caspar for allowing me to speak. Shalom. Yeehaw. Giddy up little third arm.
Thank you so much Ink-Slinger for being on the podcast, and using your voice to turn off the darkness of anti-Semitism and not let them silence you. Well, that's all for now. Join me next time for another Martian Third Arm with another guest speaker, who will be doing another Third Arm product review on itself. Also be sure to check out the roster of the Ink-Slingers stats that will follow this post on my page. Until another declassified case, this is Cas, signing off and saying peace.
What charges are you bringing against this man?
He's a criminal! Crucify him!
Give them what they want.
Stretch him out. He's dead. Get him down.
Caspar's Declassified Ethereality product reviews.